everyone! For this video, we will be making a product called Choux Craquelin. The purpose of making this video is to complete our group project assessment for the subject HTC520, Pastry and Confectionery Techniques.
Our group consists of 3 members. From the left we have Nazatul, Sarah and Alia.
Choux Craquelin may sound fancy, but they're really just dressed up cream puffs. The craquelin, a simple cookie-like dough consisting of sugar, butter, flour and a pinch of salt is rolled out, cut and pushed on the top of piped choux, and the two are baked together, producing pastry puffs with a crackly appearance, crunchy texture and a buttery sweet bite. So let's begin. And this is all the ingredients that we need.
We will start with making the choux paste first. First of all, heat your pan and pour in 125 ml of water. Basically, choux pastry is made by making a roux from water, butter and flour. It is then cooled and egg is incorporated into it. Once you get the hang of it, it is super easy to make. Once your butter is added into the water, you can let it simmer for a while. It is important to make sure that the water simmers perfectly. Once the mixture of water and butter is hot enough, you can continue adding your flour into your pan. This is important. Make sure you turn off your stove before adding the flour. Then you can continue on stirring your mixture. Then heat the mix again while stirring till the mixture becomes a cohesive mass and it clears the side of the pot. Once your choux pastry is done, you can turn off your stove and make sure to cool down your choux pastry.
While letting our choux paste cool down, we will start making the craquelin. Okay, first we will mix our butter and sugar together.
The craquelin is actually super easy to make. You can just mix everything together in the bowl of your mixer.
When it's all mixed together, you can combine the flour.
So once your mixture is mixed together, you can then roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. I used pre-cut parchment, which is 13 x 18, and use that as a guide for how big to roll out the craquelin.
Take your parchment paper. Make sure you have 2 of them.
Using 2 pieces helps to keep everything nice and smooth. In this video, we are making a classic craquelin made with butter, sugar and flour. Nowadays, there are plenty of different variations that you can do. Make sure to flatten your craquelin as flat as possible to have enough craquelin for each of your choux pastry. Once it is flat and smooth, you can put the craquelin in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. To kill time, we will start on making the pastry cream for the inside of the pastry choux. Take a big bowl mixture and pour in 250 whipping cream inside it. To mix your whipping cream, you can use a whisk balloon attachment and start mixing the mixture until stiff peak. While waiting for the whipping cream to mix, you can start making the custard. For the custard, we will combine an instant custard powder with evaporated cream milk. In less than 50 seconds, your custard is done. Once your whipping cream has achieved a stiff peak, you can add in the custard and use a folding method to combine the mixture. Once it is combined together, you can chill the mixture in the refrigerator. Back to the choux pastry. Once the mixture is cooled, you can add the remainder of the eggs gradually until fully incorporated and until you reach your desired consistency, which is called viscosity. The paste should be smooth and moist but firm enough to hold its shape. Once your choux pastry is done, you can replace the choux pastry from the pan to your piping bag. Talking about choux, according to some cookbooks, a chef by the name of Pantanelli invented the dough in the year 1540, 7 years after he left Florence with Catherine de' Medici and her court. He used the dough to make a gâteau and named it pâté à Pantanelli. Over time, the recipe of the dough evolved. Then, a vice, a pâtissier in the 18th century, and Antoine Carême made modifications to the recipe, resulting in the recipe most commonly used now for the profiteroles. After 2 hours, your coqueline will be solid as rock. Then you can cut the coqueline into small circles according to your choux pastry sizes. You can use a cookie cutter to cut out the disc. After that, you can pipe your choux pastry on a tray. Aside from making a cream puff shape, choux pastry dough can be used to make eclairs, bun, profiteroles, crullers, beignets, churros, funnel cakes, and many other shapes. Spray water all over the choux pastry dough. And then you can get your frozen coqueline discs from the freezer and put onto the piped out choux pastry. When they bake it, it melts down the sides of the cream puff to form the most perfectly crackly layer. Set your oven temperature at 200 degrees Celsius for the first 10 minutes and 180 degrees Celsius for the remaining 30 minutes. Making a choux pastry, you don't need any raising agents. It employs high moisture content to create steam during cooking to puff the pastry. The high moisture content is achieved by boiling the water and butter, then adding the flour. Inside, transfer your pastry cream into a piping bag. Once the choux coqueline is cooled down, you can pipe your pastry cream into the cream puffs. I like to do this fairly close to serving if I can so that the cream puff shell stays crispy and you get a lovely variation in texture between the filling and the shell. Lastly, you can dust a snow powder on top of the choux coqueline to make it more eye-appealing. And your choux coqueline is done, ready to be served.